You're listening to the Phatt on Phoenix FM, the voice of your community, and we are joined in our community conversations this morning by Sam Kane from Golden Square Public Pool. Welcome to the Phatt. Sam.
Morning, Brett. Morning, Keith. How are you both?
Good. Welcome.
Good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Good to have you. It's funny. I just flick open the phone and go to Facebook and see if there's any news that we can talk about. And the first thing that came up on my feed there, Golden Square Pool.
Really?
Golden Square Pool. There we go. Last night we announced that we are on track to open at the end of November for this upcoming season, which is very, very exciting. The warmer weather this week has sort of got people in that summer pool mode already. And so we thought we'll just put a post out on Facebook to let people know we're working hard, and we'll be here in about 4 weeks.
Excellent.
Yeah. And you're renowned for all your different programs that you have there at Golden Square Pool. You've got quite a reputation for it. Is it going to be another
action-packed summer?
It will be. We when we first saved the swimming pool and have had the opportunity to reimagine the space, we wanted to be more than just a place to swim, because we wanted to set ourselves apart from anything else that was in Bendigo. So developed and designed a heap of different community programs and events and activations to encourage people to not only come for their health and well-being from a physical perspective, but from a social and a community and an engagement perspective. So this summer, we've got a really, really big, like a packed program. So we've got our annual New Year's Eve pool party event. All of these are sort of centred on families to encourage our neighbourhood to come down. So New Year's Eve, we've got a movie night in January. We've got a live music and food truck event in February.
Awesome.
We've got the big Holy Festival of Colour coming back in March, and then we transform the pool at the end of March into a place for dogs to swim, and so we've got 3 weekends of dog swimming coming up in March as well. So it'll really get a great use out of the space, and then we have weekly water aerobics classes and swimming lessons and all of those kind of things. So lots on the go.
Oh, gee. I mean, that's nice and ambitious. You must have fun cleaning everything after the Holy Festival.
We do. For those who haven't been down for that event, about 1,600 people come down, and everyone is just absolutely slammed with colour. And thankfully, the pool actually comes out okay. The first year that we did it, I was really, really worried that all of a sudden the water would be so sort of discoloured and cloudy that you wouldn't be able to. But filtration system works wonders, and
magnificent.
It's all good the next day.
Well, it could turn out very ugly, because normally when you mix too many colours together, it just goes brown. So
that'd look even worse.
Thankfully, it's pretty good, and the reason why that event works so well is that festival, which is in partnership with the Indian Association of Bendigo, is about celebrating colour, but also water and light, and so. The space really lends itself to that, because it's beautiful open spaces, and some people jump in the water. Majority, usually the kids, but a lot of the people just really enjoy being in the space. Get sort of water pistols and splash water and things like that. So the water comes out okay. So that's good.
That's a very important thing. Now, for those who are not aware of it, a bit of the history of how it became, a volunteer-run pool.
Yeah, absolutely. And this year we are celebrating 12 years since we initially saved the pool from closure and became a voluntary organisation. So back in 2012, the City of Greater Bendigo had released an aquatic strategy and deemed that our pool and the pool that used to be in Long Gully were deemed sort of surplus, because Guru Wanyara Wellbeing Centre was opening, and there was low patronage at Golden Square at that time, and it was the council didn't open the pool and resolved to decommission it. And community members got together and wanted to and fought the decision from council and launched a community campaign. So I was 13 or 14 back then, and the whole suburb, all those who were supportive, put blue banners on their fence and ribbons and wrote letters to the editor, went to council meetings and knocked on doors and all of those kind of things to basically reverse the decision of council and to have them reopen the pool. 6 months later, when we eventually were successful, the caveat on that was, well, if you want to see the pool open, the community needs to run the pool. And so we had 8 months then to basically get the pool back on track. It was looking pretty dire at that point. We had no money, raised all the money. In 2013, opened for the first year as a community swimming pool. With about 40 volunteers or so that did everything from maintenance, from kiosks to all the behind-the-scenes work. That went very, very well until 2018, and then we were faced again with closure when Gurruwanyara was opened. And we argued at that point that, well, we don't know what the two facilities are like together.
Yeah.
And we argued that we could coexist with them, one summer and outdoors and cold water, and the other, Gurruwanyara, serves a great need for indoor swimming, for hydro, for all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
2 years went very, very well, but again in 2020, Council put forward a master plan for our precinct, which one of the options was to have the pool decommissioned. And that's probably what people remember most recently, about 4 years ago, and again launched a huge campaign and was successful. And now we have ongoing operation of the facility from the City of Greater Bendigo, so 95 volunteers now, and we've had nearly 200,000 visits to the pool since we first opened again in 2013. So pretty remarkable.
Amazing. And it is, and I guess there's a lot of people who, a bit older like me, who remember their local pool as being a very important place during summer and a gathering point, and probably too for Golden Square that doesn't have a well-established sort of community centre and those sort of things to gather around. To have a place that is a rallying point for community is important. I see you also involved with the development that's happening with Golden Square community at the moment through Karen Core and the work with Let's Make a Change and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and it was with us wanting to save the pool. Like I remember back in sort of 2012 and 13, it was really about going, Golden Square doesn't have a central meeting space, and the pool acted as that. And a lot of the people that got involved had grown up there, had enjoyed swimming there, but didn't want to see that space lost for future generations and for kids and for families that were growing up, because not everybody engages with traditional sport or things like that, which is what each sort of suburb has. And but with the pool, everybody is accepted, no matter age, background, ability. You can come in and enjoy the space. And when we were given the opportunity to really reclaim the space and make it our own, we wanted to make it different, because the argument, and quite rightly, I think too, was Bendigo has so many swimming pools. We're investing money into them. So why should we keep Golden Square open? And we wanted to go, okay, well, yes, you can come down here and jump in and cool off in summer, but what's the other touch points of engagement here? And is it that you want to volunteer? We've got a lot of our volunteers who don't even swim and don't even, never have swum, don't enjoy water, but come every week for their 2 or 3 hour shift because they engage very, very well socially with other volunteers. They get, have cups of tea, engage with, their friends and things like that, because they actually see the benefit in a place like this. So that's, a volunteering perspective. But we have people that just come down and sit on the grass. We have a community garden, so people, contribute to that. People come and just enjoy the music and enjoy, actually being in the space. And that's what we wanted to create. And now sort of 12 or 13 years later, we are, it makes me very happy every day to know that all of that, the vision, is now actually being a reality every single day.
How's given that the council tried to shut you down 3 times, how's the relationship now with the council?
It's a question I get asked very often, and the relationship is very, very good. Very, very positive. And I think it's because, certainly from our perspective, when in 2020, we were, of course, advocating very strongly for the pool to be saved and retained and to allow us to invest and to build the space. But also we wanted a decision made, regardless of what that was. It'd been going on for way too long.
So you're not in limbo.
No, so that decision,
forward.
and so I think for council, not speaking on behalf of them, but I think it was, okay, there was a decision made, and now we have an ongoing arrangement with them, and so we work very closely, just like a Bendigo East or a Guru Onyara or a Phatt Leach. We're just another operator of a swimming facility or pool, albeit ours is more broader than that in terms of community space. So, we meet monthly with them, and whenever we need something, pick up the phone, and they do what we can within the confines of our lease agreement, which, is worth pointing out, that our organisation, yes, runs the pool, but we have asset risk and responsibility requirements too. So if anything fails on the site, then it does trigger a clause in our agreement for closure. And so that's what we are very, very conscious of not reaching.
Yeah, definitely.
So a great relationship with council, which is really good.
Yeah. No, it's good because, they work pretty hard to get rid of you for a while, for a few years. So you've done well to come out the other side of it.
And it's always easy to criticise council for decisions, but the breadth of what councils have to do and what they have to look after, you understand why they make decisions.
Absolutely.
And it's responsible of them to review what they do and the usage, but it's good to have a council though that responds to community demand for things. Communities willing to get in and roll up their sleeves and do things.
I think so, and I look sort of what we're doing on site now. For example, we've got 4 weeks out. We are refurbishing one of our buildings. We're repainting the side of the pool, cleaning the pools. All volunteers doing that. There's electrical upgrades taking place on site, like all of this stuff that's taking place, because everyday people, really care about the place that they're looking after. And that was one of our key messages to council was you've got a really active, engaged and mobilised community here with time, resources, the ability and good connections to get donations and sponsorships and support. So why stop that? Because that same community isn't just going to lift up and go and do something else. They're there because they believe in the pool, but all the broader things that we've created together. Yeah. And so I'm really grateful, was back in 2020, was very grateful for council to have seen the vision, but also seen that the community wasn't just here for 5 minutes and was going to move on, but we've actually, been here for now 12 years, and we've got a really strong plan for the next 4 and 5 years ahead that shows that we're still committed to the space.
And council often works really hard in the community development space about creating activation points for community. Now, here's one that was pre-existing, and it was just about getting community to mobilise and activate around the space. And like you say, it provides now that activation point for the Golden Square community and a place of focus for people to get involved.
It does, and what we, as I was saying before, what we're really fortunate about is there's so many ways that people can engage with us. So, we have people that just come down and swim, and that's very good. But that's just sort of scratching the surface. So people form very, very strong connections and friendship. There, people come and volunteer once, twice, 3 times a week. People will donate money. People will come and purchase their seasons passes at our pool because they know the money stays with us. And so there's that kind of great community goodwill, and very, very fortunate, but also not complacent with that. And the team are they're wanting to make sure that we keep doing things and keep changing things and making it interesting for people to engage, because we don't want to be in a position where we aren't getting people through the gates. We become financially unviable, and then of course there'll be a question about, do we remain? But I'm very, very grateful that we're in a strong position now.
Having that plan really helps with that. Certainly with the council is rather than we don't know what we're doing next year. Like that, then opens the door for them to say, "No, see you later." But when you're like forward planning like that, and you've got to really, this is what we're doing, this is where we'll be in 5 years, makes it much easier for them to make that decision to support.
It does, and one of the things we did back in 2020 was, so we wrote our first strategic plan for 4 years. So that's coming to an end at the end of this year, and it sort of outlined, like, it was very, very detailed, but outlined sort of everything that we wanted to do. And we've just finished an exercise in June of this year, reviewing that plan, but then writing the 25 to 28 strategic plan as well.
Yeah.
And we got some pro bono support from a consultant who came in and sort of did a workshop with us to go, what are your roadblocks, what are your successes, and how do you get there? And then the plan will be, we'll present or provide that to council and go, well, this is what we're going to do over the next 4 years. And what I was really sort of happy about when we reviewed that sort of first 4-year plan was we actually achieved a lot of it. Yeah. And it was just not that we, looked at it every single day. Like, these documents, as you know, Keith, are long and lengthy. But it was really good because it showed, like, we wanted to, for example, we needed to really develop our business management software and bring our payroll in-house and all of that kind of stuff. So we did it, and then, saves us money and gets, good financial planning and all of that. That was in the plan. Yeah. And then we ticked it off, and it's like, well, that's just bread and butter now. Those are all the little things that we had to achieve. And I think, or I hope that by presenting those plans to council more broader to our industry, we go, well, we're a serious organisation here. We actually do want to do a good job because, we do receive a budget from council every year to operate. So we need, in my opinion, provide some level of security and confidence to them that we're actually being responsible in how we manage the space.
Absolutely. And that's it. A strategic plan, they're necessarily, there's an essence of wish list about strategic plans, and they should be, because they're aspirational. But the fact that it sits in a drawer, but you pull it out from time to time. But when you do the review at the end, you say, actually, we did this. It shows how robust the plan itself was, because you actually picked things that were real within that. And to be able to tick them off and say, okay, we actually did that. So our thinking was good, and it helps inform the next one as you go forward. Yeah. And the discipline of communities planning together. Yeah. That's really important.
Yeah. And I think also the first one we wrote as a committee of management, sort of at the end of 2019, start of 2020, and it was the first time we'd done the exercise. We had a volunteer who was very skilled in that area and said, let's sit down and do it, which was really good. This time, we broadened it out and had a working group and a workshop of committee of management members, some staff members, and volunteers. So there was a really good cross-section of the organisation in the room. It was so valuable because we could hear from people who weren't on the management team exactly what they saw the future and the vision being over the next couple of years. Some stuff that, like, I had never thought of and the team had never thought of was suggested, and it was brilliant. And I think there'll be ownership over the next plan for for the team as well, because they'll know that hopefully what we've suggested is then translated into the plan. And I think it makes it, as you said, much more achievable when everybody is on the same page.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We might have a listen to a couple of tracks, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more. I want to talk about how you got involved in this, Sam. Because a lot of the times we get people in here from community organisations, they're older people. You're not one of them. So we'll talk about that when we come back. We're first going to hear, first track we'll hear is from Salarymen, which is a young couple from Sydney that sort of making a bit of a name for themselves over the last 12 months. The song's called The Price of Fun. This one just came out a month or so back, I reckon. You're listening to The Phatt on Phoenix FM, the voice of your community. Phoenix FM, you're tuned into The Phatt. Last track we heard had Warrakuna from Midnight Oil. Keith, you said you missed out on the 90s. Surely you haven't completely missed out on Midnight Oil over the years?
Yeah, but you got to remember Midnight Oil were more an 80s band to some of us.
Well, to some, yeah.
I was always an Oils from, I can say honestly, from the first album, from the self-titled through Head Injuries, and then Bird Noises, Place Without a Postcard. Do you want me to quote all the albums for you?
No, let's not do that, because we'd rather be talking with Sam about stuff to do with community, because that's what this hour is all about, Keith. It's not about you.
That's why I'm just going to go off to sleep now for a while.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Sam. So we've been talking with Sam. What's the actual role there at Golden Square?
So I'm the president at Golden Square Pool. Yeah.
And we've been talking about their engagement with the community and how they have kept themselves afloat.
Nice pool.
Well done.
Nice pool pun there.
Yeah.
Well done. They're how they make sure they're not underwater. They're pooling resources.
Yeah. You both dived in to those
Thank you, Sam. Well, that'll put a full stop on that.
Yeah, I think it better. Sam, look, I find it very interesting. I mentioned it before that we do see mainly it's older people. We do a lot of these community conversations, and you're probably the first person we've had in under the age of 40, just about. If not older, I'm being probably polite there.
Yeah.
How is it that you got so involved with community organisations? Because it's not the norm for young people.
No, and I probably alluded to it a little bit earlier. When we first started the campaign to save Golden Square Pool, I was in year 8, at the end of year 8, and I honestly did not know that it would end up being this long of an involvement. Like, I literally said to my parents, can we put a blue ribbon on our fence to show support for these people who had already started the campaign? And I think my mum said, yeah, go ahead, do whatever you want. So I went around and, much more kind than that, of course, but went around and picked up the ribbon and the banner, put it on our fence, chucked a photo up on Facebook, and literally thought that would be it. But I think the more and more that I got connected to the people that were involved, and got involved in an issue that I really cared about, I worked out that I don't want to not be involved in this, because once we were given that opportunity, it was like we wanted to prove to everybody that the decision that was made to give us that opportunity was the right one. And I think for me as well, going through those later years of secondary school for me, and being involved actively in an organisation, I was learning so much stuff that I could never ever have learnt in a classroom. Things like how to deal and engage with people at varying ages, mainly older than me, how to do things such as write funding submissions, how to look at running a business, all of those kind of things. And then when I was in my first year of uni, 2018, had the opportunity to become the president of the organisation, which was something I never thought would happen, but again was very grateful to the team and the organisation for putting their trust and faith in a 20-year-old back then to shepherd the organisation through. And I think because the team has always known that the best resource we have are the people that are around the table and volunteering and becoming involved, and for me, having that confidence from the team is something I'll always be grateful for, but also knowing that we can have disagreements and we can try new things and have really good conversations, but it's all about benefiting what we're working on. And so I think for me, the reason why I've got involved and remained involved for so long is because I felt that I've learnt so much, and the team have taught me a hell of a lot that I wouldn't have got anywhere else. And I blame the pool for all of that, but I'm also very grateful because I honestly don't know what I'd be doing if I wasn't connected. And every time I think, and I don't say this too loudly to the team, but now I'm saying it on the radio. When I make I always think about when's the right time to to finish, but I go, I enjoy it, and there's something there that keeps me going back, and I'd still be going there as a patron to swim anyway, so why not contribute? That's my argument.
Yeah. Yes, and it always is a very difficult thing with organisations about saying when is it time to allow someone else to lead?
Yeah.
But I would say, from what I hear about Golden Square Pool and what I'm aware of with you, is that you're also smart enough to know that sitting in the president's chair isn't always about being the one who leads everything.
Yeah.
About how you enable others and empower others to actually be making the decisions.
Yeah, I agree, and I think when I became the president of the pool, I was in my first year of uni, living in Melbourne, and so I had to really rely on the team and the volunteers that were here to do a lot of the on the ground sort of work. And I think everybody has their area and their skill, and like every volunteer organisation, people sign up with a particular talent or work background or professional career, and it's just about I think empowering people to become involved at whatever capacity they want to do. And if it's one small job a week that actually makes the world of difference, then I'm very grateful, and the team's very grateful for that. And there's a lot of work, like in other organisations, that goes unnoticed and unpublicised.
Yeah.
But everyone's contribution is really, really valuable. And I just think if we didn't have the people that we have and the volunteers that are involved, then there would be no pool. We can't afford to have paid staff all the time to do these things. So yeah.
Yes, I can relate to it quite a bit. Because it is. I mean, I think sometimes even people don't realise with the radio station, the building, just keeping the lights on doesn't happen if everyone's just sort of sitting around waiting for someone else to do something. It actually needs people to get involved, and even if it is just a little bit that you contribute, it might only be 1 hour a week that you can actually contribute to the running of it, but that's 1 hour that someone else is already doing 20 hours then doesn't have to do, and it makes a big difference.
I agree, and I think as well, what we're sort of seeing sort of post-COVID and post-pandemic is there was a real sort of, during the pandemic, there was a drop-off in volunteers being able to contribute to things. And then I've sort of seen sort of the past year and a half, people have actually been craving wanting to be involved in organisations again because they love the benefit that it provides to them. So yes, in our context, a volunteer might go, I've done my 2 hours and I've helped sell lollies and ice creams in the kiosk and sold a membership here or there. But also I've caught up with such and such down the road. Yeah. I've had afternoon tea. I've gone for my swim. I've arranged to have dinner with that volunteer. Like, these are conversations that happen all the time, and there are social groups in our volunteer team, got 95 of them, that actively meet and actively, catch up and socialise outside of our general operating period. And I think, that is actually the added benefit of an organisation, any volunteer organisation, but ours in particular. I just go, well, we saved a pool, yes, but actually we've created this neighbourhood, this community that didn't exist, and that's, I think, is far greater sometimes.
It is. It's the huge benefit of community organisations that enable volunteers to get involved is that, the social interaction is just as important as anything else they do. And you look at, we know the impacts that sort of thing has on mental health. The fact that, you have people around you who care. And they feel needed, they feel wanted, and they feel that strength of association. So, you can never downplay the importance.
I think it's more important than it ever has been. Like with that whole shift towards social media, that so many, they're almost fake relationships that have been built on social media that are based on people never actually meeting one another. And, all of a sudden it goes awry because someone misunderstood. You can type something and it reads one way to you, but it's read one way. And all of a sudden a relationship is because you don't actually know one another. You haven't actually got that physical engagement. You can have those relationships online, but so many of our kids, that's the basis for pretty much all their relationships is an online relationship. There's a real opportunity for those kids, and it gets talked about time and time again about the mental health issues that social media is causing for kids. Like, we're looking at a blanket ban for kids on social media. this is what we need to get them back to, is actually having face-to-face conversations. And you can tell by looking at me whether I'm talking rubbish or not. You can't necessarily tell that on social media.
And I think one thing that we have in our volunteer team is a junior volunteering program, so allowing kids to volunteer with their parents. And that came out of, in 2018, we were actually losing volunteers because parents and grandparents were saying, oh, well, I've got caring responsibilities for my kids, and so I can't contribute and can't volunteer. So we said, well, bringing them in. Yeah. And so, I would say, at least a third of our volunteer base are all kids from about sort of grade sort of 2 and 3 all the way up, and some great stories take place there, and one of which is some of our junior volunteers that have been with us since 2017 and 2018 are now reaching the point where they'll be able to train as a lifeguard and be employed by us sort of next year. And so that from community involvement is just astounding, and I'm very much looking forward to having a whole lifeguard team made up of the volunteers now in a paid role that have helped save the pool, and that's just going to be brilliant.
And I mean, what's better than enabling volunteering, enabling families to volunteer together? I mean, that's great. I mean, the forward thinking that goes into saying, let's get young people and enable their volunteering now, and they learn that being involved in an organisation is good, and they'll take that through life. And
by them being involved, they actually don't necessarily know they're volunteering either. They just sort of come down and they go, oh, I might just help put the bins out, for example, tiny job, but they're actually giving back and contributing. And a lot of the volunteers, the young kids, go across the road to Golden Square Primary School. We have a great connection and partnership with them. But I remember last year, I heard from someone who went and was a guest speaker at Golden Square Primary and must have asked them, the kids, where do you volunteer? What do you do in your spare time? And half of them in this class apparently put their hand up and said, Golden Square Pool, it's the only place that we be involved in. And that was really great to hear, because there's this great community ownership, and I think that's one of the greatest things that's come out of this journey, I think.
Well, thank you, Sam, for
Thanks
coming
for having
me. Really inspirational story you've got there at Golden Square Pool, and hopefully it's almost like a blueprint for how community organisations, I think, can take back control and get invested.
Thanks for having me.
I'm looking forward to the synchronised swimming season.
Synchronised swimming. Would that be a late addition to the program, do you think?
I reckon.
Okay.
Should we?
I'll speak to you off air.
Maybe, I could see Brett and his budgies doing
I'm thinking, Keith, maybe you and I, we could do a Phatt synchronised swimming team.
Do an OB down at the pool one day.
That's it. Yeah.
We could do that.
Definitely,
well, I'm all over that for one of your events,
especially when you've got an event on.
That sounds really
good.
Keep
that conversation open.
Thanks for having me, and I'll give a shout out to the team as well for all of the work they're doing. Opening in 4 weeks' time, so they're doing a power of work at the moment to get us ready. So hope to see everyone in the middle of November for a swim.
So can people get their seasons tickets and that already?
They can. They can buy them online via our website and our Facebook page. All the money stays with us, and it's the best way to support the pool is to purchase your membership right with us.
Excellent.
Cool. Well, thank you, Sam. We'll let you go because I don't want to incur the wrath of your boss.
No.
If you're listening, Marie. Been there, done that before. Anyway, we're going to have a listen to a couple of tracks, but Sam, we'll be in touch, and
Thank you both.
We'll come to an event there and put something on down at Golden Square Pool. All right, we're going to have a listen to a Australian band, of course, called Floodlights, and a song called Can You Feel It? This one only came out a couple of weeks ago, a favourite band of mine. You're listening